Toy Story 4 is the best in the series. So many people believe that the fourth film is nothing more than a soulless cash grab. Andy's story concluded. So why would the executives tarnish a perfect conclusion? Well, the quality of the ending is based on perspective. The final scene is a beautiful way to end Andy's journey. A young boy cherishes his toys until he passes them on to the next generation. But this franchise isn't about Andy. Toys are the protagonists. They are the ones that ultimately push the plot forward. Buzz, Woody, and the rest of the crew work behind the scenes to ensure their child is living his best life. What if Toy Story is a series about the hard work involved in being a parent? We assume all the titles are made for younger audiences. However, the ones accompanying the kids are adults. Our parents watch this film in an entirely different way than us younger viewers. While Andy enjoys his life, his guardians watch over him. We take a lot for granted, but parenting is so much work. Taking care of kids can be a stressful yet rewarding endeavor. After a family member moves out, a lack of responsibility and connection can be crippling. Think about Toy's biggest fear. Hopefully, my child doesn't stop spending time with me. Empty nest syndrome is a problem for so many families. People cope in various ways. Some cling to the past, while others feel like they've lost their inner voice. Toy Story 4 demonstrates these ideas in a truly poignant fashion. Woody wasn't meant to be stored in a closet his entire life. In every movie, he goes out of his way to help those he cares about. He has purpose and value outside of his relationship with the kid. After Woody retires, he gives up his voice so Gabbi Gabbi can follow her dream. Buzz's story didn't end here either. Lightyear's loss of connection makes him question his purpose. His usually confident demeanor is stripped down from a lack of direction. Many parents go through these experiences when their child moves out. So today, I want to explain why Toy Story 4 is a necessary addition to the franchise. If you enjoy this video, like and subscribe so you always see my latest content. When we are kids, toys are for our immediate gratification. A child will often smash or abuse their belongings without thinking. The youth can act incredibly selfishly. Empathizing with our caretakers when we enter adulthood is an eye-opening experience. Watching over helpless beings for multiple years requires an ungodly level of dedication. Raising a child is a form of unpaid labor. Every one of us has a job with a list of responsibilities, and parenting is no exception. Adults have to feed their kids, get them ready for school, offer emotional support, pay for all expenses, while still trying to find personal time. All the toys in this movie partake in these behaviors in some shape or form, not to mention that all the hard work is in the background. Telling the story in this way illustrates how much parents do without us noticing. One of the most gratifying things about working is seeing the fruits of our labor. When Andy or Bonnie's face lights up, we can't help but feel happy as audience members. Our guardians are selfless in so many ways. Raising a child has very little immediate gratification, but a big potential payout. We frequently forget how often adults put their needs aside for their kids. At first, Woody is hurt because Bonnie plays with the other toys. When he was with Andy, he was always the favorite. The cowboy could have focused on himself and found a better caretaker, but his main concern is always her happiness. Woody follows Bonnie to school and cheers her up. Even when Forky takes the limelight, our hero puts her needs above his validation. Our loved ones sacrifice so much on our behalf without a single ounce of praise. Parents often feel a sense of dread that their kids won't interact with them anymore. Working so hard only to be cast aside is a horrible feeling. Lotso is such a compelling enemy because he represents the resentment many feel. Appreciating all that our loved ones do for us is important. Taking the time to validate another's emotions helps everyone feel included. Raising a kid is difficult for a plethora of reasons. One of the most challenging moments in a parent's life is having their child leave home. Woody has a hard time letting go of his favorite owner. Our hero is suffering from empty nest syndrome. Many parents feel lonely or depressed after their loved ones moved out, which makes sense when we think about it. Woody has spent his entire life befriending Andy. They've gone on so many adventures together. His obsession with getting Forky back to Bonnie comes from his insecurity. The lonely cowboy only knows one way of living. Rather than hear out his buddy, he projects his lifestyle onto a defenseless piece of trash. It's sad to see how much our hero's obsession blinds him to Forky's valuable perspective. Even though he was conceived from garbage, his insight is limitless. Buzz loses himself after his purpose has been fulfilled. He follows his heart, even if it leads him towards danger. By bonding with those around him, he creates a new identity. Loss is a common theme between all the characters. Bo Peep and Woody bond over the sadness they feel. When they empathize with one another, they connect on a deeper level. Toy Story 4 does something most movies ignore. Following up on a conclusion takes a lot of courage. In a way, obsolescence is the biggest hurdle many toys face. My life has been in danger, but what if my existence has no meaning? Existentialism is a topic that needs more mainstream coverage. Significant life changes can make us question everything from our values to our own nature. Parents rely on their children for social validation and support as well. Without positive reinforcement, we start negatively analyzing our worth. Empty nest syndrome is real and impacts so many families around the world. Social resources are so important to our mental health. Changing circumstances can lead to a lack of connection in the long run. Woody demonstrates the effects of empty nest syndrome. He's constantly stressing about whether or not Andy is okay. There's a growing sense of frustration he can't shake. He feels rejected. Most notably, his loss of purpose. One of the best ways to combat empty nest syndrome is to build a community. Woody, Buzz, and Bo Peep don't appreciate the amazing toys they have right in front of them. To fully appreciate the conclusion, we must start at the beginning. Buzz and Woody were always destined for separate paths. The cowboy and space ranger are two different as people. Woody has always found meaning by never leaving a toy behind. Buzz, by contrast, questions his existence while seeking out adventure. There's no denying these two have amazing chemistry, but going separate ways is part of true friendship. Toy Story 4 makes sense when we look at the narrative from the perspective of parenting. Woody and Buzz's consciousness doesn't stop after Andy passes on his toys. All the playthings in this movie are sentient. They can think and feel just like us. Bonnie receiving her gift does nothing to address the characters' feelings. If this story is ultimately about the toys, then their perspective is the most important. The fourth film illustrates the sadness that comes from loss. What happens when a child goes off to college? I feel like no one wanted Buzz and Woody to part ways. Everyone was happy two best friends found a new loving home. But this entry demonstrates how selfish we are as audience members. Woody isn't content obsessively babysitting Forky. He wants to do more with his existence than be a child's plaything. His separation from Andy lets him recognize his value. Our hero's talents are best suited to helping those in need. While Woody's off doing his own thing, Buzz has taken up a leadership role. In Toy Story 2, for example, he helps lead the rescue. Or in this movie, he instructs his buddies using his inner voice. While Lightyear's character has been all over the place, leadership is a key part of his identity. We might assume lifelong buddies separating would be a somber moment, although both characters seem content with their new lives. A sensation of true happiness that wasn't present at the end of the third film. Finding our purpose in life is an ever-changing landscape. Something that gives us happiness now might not fulfill us in the same way in the future. Taking the time to appreciate those who are with us every step of the way is so important. Woody's selflessness changes his character in a meaningful fashion. After he looks outward, he realizes his value. Thanks for checking out this video. I really appreciate it. Toy Story 4 is a poignant addition to the franchise that dissects important themes. Existential thoughts come into our minds when we least expect them. A child leaving the household can drastically impact parents' mental health. Feelings of frustration or anxiety are normal. Toy Story as a series reminds us to appreciate our caretakers. While we live it up, our parents work tirelessly in ways we don't recognize. Showing appreciation towards the ones we love is so important. Woody is a hero we can all look up to. Even when someone else treats him poorly, he leads with love. What psychological messages can we take away from these films? I'd love to hear from you.